Hearings into tax administration and governance at the South African Revenue Service resumed in Pretoria today. The hearings relate to how suspended SARS Commissioner Moyane managed the Revenue Service. Today, the inquiry heard about how the new SARS operating model impacted on SARS. SARS executive Dr. Randall Carolison testified this morning. He admitted that SARS revenue declined to 6.3% in 2017 from 15% in 2009. He said that SARS did not need restructuring.
Absolutely not, because we had a well-defined strategic journey that we were on. And we were clear about where we're going, what the next step should be. In some cases where we're not clear, as they manifest themselves, we were agile enough to deal with that. So, in fact, let me be quite blunt about this. None of us anticipated radical restructuring. Most of us that participated in the process, myself included, thought that this was an optimization of the journey that we are on.
For more on the story, we'll cross to our reporter Naledi Molefi in Pretoria. Good afternoon, Naledi. I understand that Judge Nugent started dealing with a certain submission that came before the Commission today.
Yes, good afternoon, Nzinga. Yes, this morning Judge Robert Nugent dealt with a submission that was presented before the Commission. This submission actually asked him to investigate the role of the rogue unit, and he actually simply did not entertain that. He said that if people have information regarding this issue, they must simply go to the police, and he is not going to entertain this because this Commission is not necessarily about certain individuals. It's about the issue of governance and administration at SARS at large. So it's not necessarily about the few individuals who were alleged to have been involved in the rogue unit. We know that Mr. Ivan Pilla is actually, together with his former colleagues, are actually being prosecuted with regard to this issue of the rogue unit.
Naledi, who gave testimony today, and give us a little bit more insight into what they said?
Well, this morning it was Dr. Randall Carolison who gave testimony, and he simply said that the operating model was not even necessary for SARS. He said that SARS was running efficiently before this operating model. So this operating model simply destroyed SARS. SARS, the revenue growth at SARS declined right now to about 6.3%. It used to be about 15% in 2009. SARS debt levels actually also increased to 135 billion rand from 85 billion few years ago. He said that there was too much concentration on individual tax collectors without, and leaving out the real culprits, which are people like big companies who are not complying with tax. This led to a situation where, people like the cigarette smugglers, for instance, were able to get away with murder and not complying with compliance because of SARS inefficiencies. He also mentioned that SARS credit book actually is now standing at 55 billion and that about 57 million tax returns, overall tax returns, are actually not submitted across the board.
Naledi Molefi giving us an update there from that SARS inquiry. She's following that story and will continue to keep us updated. Economists expect consumer price inflation to rise by as much as 5% for the month of July. This comes as the rand weakened due to international factors. Consumer price inflation rose by 4.6% in June as housing and transport costs increased 0.7 and 1